written me, you've told me that you're listening. Thank you. To my listeners in Selma, Alabama, thank you so much for listening. To all of my listeners right here in the city of Jacksonville, Alabama, where we broadcast from, here at the Communications Building on the campus of Jacksonville State University, I thank you for listening. I want to have the opportunity to introduce some of my guests who have been such a marvelous part of this experience that has been Late Night with Ed Moore III. If I just may go around the room here, you all, I just want you to know there are a lot of people in the room right now. There are a lot of people in the room right now, and I hope the air will stay on because there are a lot of bodies in here. But I mean, it is finale night, and that's okay. I don't mind finale night being packed like this. It just shows just how many people have had the opportunity of being on this blessing. A couple of people that I would like to interview first. His name is Mr. Stefan Middleton. Stefan was on our Blind in America show that we did on March 16th. Hello to you, Stefan. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Stefan. So glad to have you back here. And her name is Miss Sierra Tillman. Sierra was here when we did our Reality Television in America show. That was such a fun show. We discussed basically all the aspects surrounding reality TV and what's real about reality TV and what's not. That show aired on February 24th. She also did that show with Tori D. Green and Billy Keith Dunn, as well as Adam Buchanan. That was on the night of February 24th. Hello, Sierra. Welcome back to WLJS. Hey. So glad to have you here. His name is Mr. Justin Johnson. You may remember him from the Sexual Assault and Awareness Sexual Assault in America show that we did just a couple of weeks ago with our sexual assault counselor, Miss Trace Fleming Smith, and another guest from Late Night with Ed Moore III, Miss Shay Slaughter. Please allow me to welcome back Mr. Justin Johnson to WLJS Studios. Hello, Mr. Johnson. So glad to have you back.
Good to be back.
You may remember her from our female empowerment episode that show aired on. That was show number 15 that aired on February the 3rd. That was with Miss MJ Ortiz, Antoinette Venable Tatum, Nim Maseshi, Chandra B. Jones, and Kara Simone. And please allow me to welcome Miss Kara Simone back to WLJS Studios.
Hey, glad to be back.
So glad to have you here. And he was also a guest on the Reality Television in America show that aired on February 24th. Allow me to welcome Mr. Adam Buchanan back to WLJS Studios.
Hey, it's great to be back.
Did you hesitate a little bit there?
Yeah. I had a brain fart there for a second.
It's quite all right. I have them all the time. He was a guest on our Men of Radio show. He's been a regular here on Late Night with Ed Moore III. He's made a plethora of appearances on this show. There was show number 14 that aired on January 27th with Nur Chernett and Cortez Etchison. Please allow me to welcome Mr. Samuel E. Pugh, Late Night with Ed Moore III, regular, back to WLJS Studios.
What's up, Ed, man?
Good to have you back. Good to have you back here. And he was a guest on our Muslim in America show, Life After September 11th. That show aired on March the 2nd, in which we went a little deeper to see what has it been like for the Muslim community in America since the September 11th attacks, as well as trying to educate the American public as to what being a Muslim really is, instead of these stereotypes and these stigmas that we have against the Muslim community. Allow me to welcome Mr. Dr. Safal Al-Hamandi back to WLJS Studios. Hello, Mr.
Thank you very much for having us back here, and Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. And she was a guest on our very, 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 what has now gone down in history as the most listened to show in the Late Night with Ed Moore III series. She was here during the Trayvon Martin special that aired on March 23rd. As you all know, Trayvon Martin is the young man in Florida who was gunned down by a neighborhood watchman by the name of George Zimmerman, who has recently been arrested and charged for the murder of Trayvon Martin. And he is currently serving time in a Seminole County, Florida jail. Please allow me to welcome former WLJS broadcaster as well. She also used to be one of my colleagues here at the station, Miss Sandra K. Hall, back to WLJS.
What's going on, everybody? I know Ed does not like shout outs, but I have to shout out that he won the Best Specialty Award this year for his show. Don't be modest, baby.
She, thank you.
Round of applause.
She's referring to the People's Choice Awards every year. WLJS, we have a banquet. It's kind of like the Academy Awards of the communications department, the department that is over this station, and every year basically the People's Choice, they choose a show that has that they like the most, and Late Night with Ed Moore III was chosen this year. I actually wasn't even gonna say that, but I guess that you decided to say it. Thank you. That I was very humbled to win that award, because I wasn't expecting anything from that banquet. I just wanted to go and just see what everybody else was gonna get, and be happy for them. So it was a blessing. She was also a guest on the Female Empowerment in America show. Please allow me to welcome Miss Chandra B. Jones back to WLJS studio. Hello, Miss Jones. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Ed. How are you doing?
You can scoot up just a little bit. She was also a guest on the 6-month anniversary special. It had been 6 months from that date, which we had premiered Late Night with Ed Moore III. So Late Night with Ed Moore III premiered for the very first time on September 9th. And on March 9th, we celebrated the Late Night with Ed Moore III 6-month anniversary special, a celebration of blessings. And she was also here in past shows on season 1 as well. Please allow me to welcome Miss Misha Faith Watley back to WLJS Studios.
Hello. Good to be back.
It's good to have each. I didn't miss anybody, did I?
You good.
Okay, there are so many. Oh, yeah, come on in. Mr. Jones was standing out there in the hallway. Mr. James Jones, he was here when we did the Whitney Houston tribute special that aired on February the 17th, on which we had a plethora of television and radio broadcasters from across Central Alabama pay their respects and their homage to the late pop icon, Miss Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Please allow me to welcome Mr. James Jones back to W.
Thank you there, Mr. Moore. How y'all doing out there?
Back to WLJS Studios. It's such a pleasure to have you all here. And I guess one thing that I want to know from each, and I guess I can just go around the room here. What did coming on to the show for all of you? I want to know, what was it like, the opportunity of coming on to this show? I guess I can just go around the room. Stefan, I'm gonna start with you, since you're on my far right over here and you're the closest to my hand. There you go. And since you're the closest to me, what was the opportunity of coming on the show like for you?
Well, first of all, I wasn't necessarily nervous, because I actually worked at a radio station in the summer of my junior year of high school, but I was very excited to get an opportunity to inform the American public of what it's like to be a blind person growing up in America, and what I had to overcome to get to where I am now.
What about you, Sierra Tillman, when you came on the Reality Television America show? What was the show like for you?
I just, it was fun. It was a blast. I had fun. We were here with Adam and Billy Keith, and it was fun. I just loved, whenever anyone wants my opinion about the Housewives, I am glad to give it.
What about you, Miss Kara Simone, who was on our Female Empowerment show? You were discussing about, why women have to do certain things differently than men. We also talked about why women, is there so much pressure on them to have to dress or look better in public, as opposed to men having to dress up and look a certain way. What was that like, being able to come on the show and I guess educate America out there, and even men specifically, about being a woman?
I enjoyed it. I got to listen to other females about how they felt about women empowerment, and it kind of helped me out too. Because sometimes I'll go out in my t-shirt and tights and I think nothing of it, but you have to realize that you need to be presentable, especially as a woman. So,
you know, one thing that I can say is that when we did that show, it felt like The View. It did. It felt like The View because, I mean, think about it. All of you all were diverse ages, diverse backgrounds, and all of you all, you know, economically, all you all are different. Some were, you know, older women who were working. Some of us were, you know, some of you all were college students, you know, who didn't have a job. And, you know, so you all were able to give different perspectives. Y'all were able to give perspectives as a 19-year-old, as a late 20s, and some of them, you know, early 30s, some of them with children, some of them not. So it felt like The View. Yeah. You know, who knows? Maybe
it was just good to get different point of views because it's, you know, it's a lot for us women. It's hard for us.
Yes, so. I completely understand. I guess all the women in here, all the women here agree that it's hard. Mr. Justin Johnson, you came here on the Sexual Assault in America show. What kind of feedback were you receiving from all the gentlemen out there that were listening to some of the things you had to say about the bro code?
You know what? I got a lot of jokes.
You got a lot of jokes?
I got joked on as soon as I got home. My roommates, they had friends over and everything, so they trying to sound proper and everything, just making jokes, making fun of how I was talking. But not too much. They kind of agreed with what I was saying. Because, you know, they were real serious. They're real stand-up individuals. So I think that they got something from what we were saying, and that's good, and that's what I wanted. That's good.
When, you know, you on the show, you mentioned that, you know, one of the things that Trace Fleming Smith, our sexual assault awareness counselor for the show, one thing that she mentioned was that sometimes when men get in that space of, you know, you're at a party and the woman is drunk, you know, sometimes you might have to, you know, you see some guy trying to take her to the back room. And, you know, you mentioned that, you know, there's this bro code. And you said that as soon as you see something like that happening, that bro code, that code that you don't get in the way of another man's play or another man's game, that you as a man need to stop that.
Yes.
And that's not acceptable.
Absolutely.
What were some of the men, some of your male friends saying about you, and it was saying to you, and that you mentioned that?
Well, what they were saying, we were talking about back in high school. When, I'm not saying they would take anything like that happened in high school. But I'm saying they were just saying that they didn't see me do that. But what I learned is that as a grown, you have to grow up to learn to be an individual and to want to be an individual, be strong within yourself, and that came with age with me. And I regret not doing it sometimes in the past. But now that I have grown, I've seen things and I've matured, I have no problem with taking that heat from other guys. Doesn't matter to me.
And you know what? There's one thing that this show has taught me is that when you know you're doing the right thing, you don't mind taking the heat. Mm-hmm. You don't mind. You don't mind talking about why hazing is wrong and why people have to die just to be a part of something. You don't mind talking about that because you know you're doing the right thing. So I get it. I understand now. Dr. Al-Hamdani, who was here on our Muslim in America show, what was coming on the show like for you? I know I must say that at first I was very apprehensive into stepping into the show because that was entirely out of my comfort zone, way out of my comfort zone. And so I did have to be advised. I had some foreign relations consultants for the show who told me how to go about doing it. Dr. John K. Ketterer, who is our global community and foreign relations and international relations consultant for the Late Night with Ed Moore III show, referred me to your office, and he said he is perfect. He's the perfect man for the job.
He's always a gentleman. He speaks highly of everybody. He's a wonderful guy. Well, it's not a secret. There is wide misconception about Islam, how the people view it, how much education about Islam. People, they don't know that much about it. And the show gave me opportunity to highlight the principle of Islam, tell the people who we are as a Muslim, what we believe, what the Quran is, who's the Prophet Muhammad, who's our God, because misconception is huge about Allah. They think Allah is just another God. But Christian and Jewish in Arab country, they call God Allah. So is the Muslim. We accomplished that for the viewer. They were very pleased to know there is one God we worship as a Muslim, the same as the Christian and the Jewish. So it was wonderful opportunity to go over and highlight the principle of Islam, the